Were you having fun drinking?
Yes, I was.
Were you having fun swimming?
Yeah, because I was drinking and swimming.
For
Cheers!
you.
Cheers.
I took a
bunch of shots.
Chug.
Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Judith. If you're not new here, welcome back. I can't believe I'm doing this video. I never in a million years would have thought that I would be here today telling you that I am 6 months sober, 6 months alcohol free.
Hold up, wait a minute.
Wow. I have been feeling so proud of me because, of course, I never thought I would be here. It feels so surreal just because, like 4 years ago, my mentality was that I was gonna be, I guess it's gonna be 5 years now, I think. I'm not sure. I thought I was gonna be the drunk tia, and I used to talk about it on here all the time that I was gonna be the drunk tia, the single tia.
It's okay, I'm single and I am just having the time of my life right now.
She's fine, she's living life.
That would show up to the parties drunk. I was gonna be the life of the party my whole life, not going to settle down. And here I am telling you guys that I am sober today. I am 6 months sober today. Crazy, so crazy. I know there's a lot of you that have been following me from the beginning, so I'm sure even you guys are like, what? I had done a video early, I think last year, where I had said that I was done with alcohol. I was quitting it, and I think it probably lasted about 2 to 3 months, which is the longest I had ever gone before. And I just went back to drinking. It was definitely hard, challenging. Also, I feel like just in the summer it gets warmer and you crave that beer, like for me personally, and it definitely got hard and I just caved in. I was doing it more for my health and I saw that it was kind of improving, so I told myself I would drink a few drinks, not as before. And I think for a few weeks I was able to kind of keep it to where I wasn't drinking too much, but then I eventually started to going back to drinking every weekend, 2 to 3 times a week, and it took me back to where I was having health issues. But before I get into that, I do want to just give you all a little history of when my drinking started, for those of you that are new here or just don't know. I wasn't even legal yet. I started drinking at the age of 19. I would consider it, I guess, something that I'm proud of, because everyone that I know, a lot of people that I know, started drinking much younger than that age. And I think for a while, even in high school, I was so against it. I would tell myself that I was never going to drink. I was actually in a relationship throughout my whole high school, and we both had agreed that alcohol wasn't going to be part of our life. Obviously that relationship didn't work out, and I think it was around 19 that I started just going out a lot, and I wanted to party because since I was in a committed relationship all of my high school, I never got to see the partying side of it. I was always stuck with that person. But yeah, I wouldn't go out to party with my friends. I wouldn't really hang out a lot with other people other than my relationship at the moment. So I did feel like once I was out of high school, I wanted to be able to live that life of knowing what it's like to party and go out with friends. So that's when it started. I was more of a mixed drink person. I hated beer. I absolutely hated beer. I hated how it smelled. I hated how it tasted. I think every time I would think of beer, it would remind me of all those times when I was little and my dad would be next to me. I'm a super daddy's girl, and it would remind me of those times where my dad would burp around me or near my face, and that smell till this day grosses me out. Even with my fiance, whenever he burps, even if it's not directly at me, I mean never directly at me, but whenever he's near me, I can smell it right away, and I hate that smell. So I think that's what beer always reminded me of, and I hated it. So of course we started partying a lot, and it was more of like what everyone wanted to drink, and the easier thing to get was beer, because it was either we would make mixed drinks and get a bottle, or it was beer. And beer was the easier thing to get. It was quick grab and go instead of having to like worry about mixing the drinks. So we started going to clubs that were pretty far, and I would chug my beer. I would force it down just because I wanted to get that buzz feeling, and we would do it so often that I started to actually enjoy the taste of beer. I went from gagging to beer, having to force it down because I was choosing to starting to enjoy beer. I think I started enjoying it more too because I was always more of a quiet, shy girl, and I noticed that with alcohol I would just get more chatty, and I would get more where I felt like I was more comfortable to talk around people. And I started noticing that everyone would notice it too. If I wasn't drunk yet, everyone would be like, you're so quiet today, you're not like as chatty. Versus when I had alcohol in my system, everyone's like, oh yeah, like you're definitely feeling it already, you're talking more, you're more like in the party vibes with us. So I started to pay attention to that, to where it made me feel like I had to have a drink before any social event, because I was not as chatty if I didn't have alcohol in my system. So I think at a very young age I started learning, instead of learning how to feel my feelings and deal with my anxiety of like being around other people and talking, I started using alcohol as that little boost to get me to be more chatty with people, more vocal, more just socialize more overall. And it stuck for a very long time. Then I got 2 jobs. I was living a stressful life. I was in school, and it just got worse. Like I was drinking more. And I do want to say that I don't feel like I have a problem with alcohol. Obviously I've gone 6 months without it, and it's not to where I am an addict or anything like that. I just truly feel like I'm not a person that can just say, let me just enjoy one beer, because to me, at least for a long time, I was in the mindset of, well, if I'm gonna drink, it's because I want to feel different, not just because I'm just gonna have a beer. Like, what's the point? If before it was I don't enjoy the beer, I want to get the feeling that it gives me. I feel more active, more energized, more chatty. I socialize with everyone. So I do like that I feel a little bit more brave when I have alcohol, which is why I feel like once I have a few drinks, I want to keep drinking more. And then it leads me to blacking out. So I do remember the first time I ever blacked out. I didn't know that was even a thing, and thankfully I was at home. It was the first Saturday that I had off, I think in like over a year. I believe we had some sort of like family event at my house, and I was able to get that weekend off, and I partied hard for the first time ever. And I was just confused because I was like, what happened last night? And I just started crying because I had no idea what had happened. I go to my family and they're like, oh, you were crying all night, we had to take you to your bed. It was just horrible. And after that, I knew what a blackout was, and I would experience them a lot because I would drink to the point where I would not know what I was doing. And I got myself into a lot of situations where I feel like could have been dangerous and could have led me to me not being here anymore. So now that I'm clear-headed, now that I think back and look at those situations that I was in, I'm really like, wow, Judith, you really put yourself in some dangerous situations. Like, why? You know? And it was all because of alcohol. I wasn't thinking clear, and I've done things drunk that people will tell me, you know, like, oh, you did this, you did that, and I'm just like, what? Are you serious? So yeah, that was my little history with drinking, right? I also at a time was working at a firm. This was when I was in LA still, and that job was super stressful that I would probably have a drink almost every day. A lot of the times I loved my coworkers there. Till this day, I miss them. It's like the worst job I had, not worst, but like the most stressful job that I ever had. But I only stayed there because of the people that I worked with. I loved the environment at the time. After it kind of got a little toxic and stuff, but I got out before then. Well, that's when I moved over here and I was able to work remotely. But I loved the people that I worked with, which is why I stayed there for such a long time. And we would go have drinks during lunch. I had a manager that we would literally, he'd be like, let's go have a margarita. Like, we had so many spots around us too, so we would have a drink for lunch, then dinner would come, and or we would be off work, we would clock out, and everyone would be like, let's go to happy hour. So we'd have a few drinks. So yeah, I would drink almost every single day. I think that's when I started drinking like the most, and then after that it just became that habit, you know, for me to enjoy a drink no matter what the time was. It could be if I was drinking on Saturday night and I would wake up the next day on Sunday, if it was like the weekend, I'd be like, oh, let's have a beer. Like, whoever was down with me to have a beer at freaking 8 in the morning, I would have a beer. And I always judged people for not wanting to drink with me, I guess. Not judge, but I would always be like, oh, you're boring, like, come on, let's have a drink. And I started realizing that I was just drinking way too much. It was way too much, and not to where I ever got in fights with anyone. My thing to being like super drunk is I'll just start crying and then I'll pass out. I just really started seeing that alcohol was just being a huge issue for me. Come to last year that I got blood work done and my liver was coming out abnormal. So the doctor told me that I had to stop drinking. I tried it for a few months, went back to drinking, and then I go to a doctor again and they're like, what happened? Like, you were looking better. And I was like, oh, you know, I started drinking again. So I just decided like, okay, that's it. I'm gonna stop drinking alcohol. I didn't think I would make it this far, if I'm being honest. From the beginning, it was let me see if I could get to 6 months. That was not the plan. To me, it was just, let me take it one day at a time and see where this takes me. At first, it was very hard just because I'm the one that's normally the let's have a drink, or if I'm at a party with my family, I'm the one that's trying to be the life of the party, you know. I'm the one that's like, let's take a shot, or you're drinking too slow, let's get another drink. Like, I am that person. So at the beginning, everyone was like, where's that Judith? We miss her. We miss the drinking Judith, the one that's like trying to like hype everyone up. And I would be like, I'm sorry, I can't. And what made it easier was that I had a legit excuse. I feel like if I didn't have a legit excuse, it would have been so much harder for my family to accept that I wasn't drinking, and for me as well. And there's a lot of pressure that I've gone under, peer pressure, and thankfully I haven't caved in. But man, it's been hard. Like, I recently, like maybe about a month ago, had a situation where one of my cousins told me, we were at his gender reveal, and he was like, come on, if you love me, like, we're celebrating that I'm having a baby, just do it for me. And I almost fell for it, because to me it was kind of like, well, let me prove to you that I do love you, you know. Let me prove to you, like, let me break my sobriety so that you could see how much I love you. But I didn't cave in, because I was determined to, at that point I was already determined to make it to my 6 months. I think maybe at around 3-4 months I was like, you know what, I could do it to my 6 months. Let me try to push it that far. And I don't blame anyone that has tried to peer pressure me and to drinking. I truly don't, just because I've been there. I've been that person that tries to peer pressure people into drinking, and I feel terrible for it now. But it definitely makes me understand where those people are coming from, especially like the younger generation of our family. They're barely starting to go through that phase of drinking, and they started drinking with me, and to see me not drinking anymore, of course it's like weird to see for them, or even for me. But I see where they come from, and I don't get angry when someone tries to get me to drink, because like I said, I've been there. I've been that person, and I'm more understanding. And I'm like, you know what, I love you, but no, I'm not gonna have a shot. Like, I am doing this for me. I'm doing this for my health. So yeah, peer pressure has been tough. There's moments where I felt like I was gonna cave in, but I think the pros of not drinking has allowed me to stick to not drinking, because I just feel so good without alcohol. Surprisingly, I started because of my health. That is why I quit drinking, and also because I'm on here sharing my weight loss journey. I'm here trying to be a healthier person, and in a way I feel like I'm being a hypocrite to myself if I am trying to live this healthy lifestyle but I'm still consuming alcohol, which is a drug, and it's something that's been super bad for me. And I'm not saying that I will never have a drink again. Let me clarify that. I really just wanted to get to the 6 months to see if I could do it. And now that I see that I could do it, it does make me want to see, well, maybe I can make it to 1 year, or maybe I could make it to like a forever thing. I don't know. I'm gonna take it one day at a time. As of right now, I'm aiming to not drink, but I don't know. I don't know what the future has in store for me. To me, I kind of just want to really get used to not drinking, and maybe later on I could be that person that has 2 to 3 drinks and just stops it there. But right now I feel like I can't be that person, so I definitely just rather not have it at all. So yeah, that is why I stopped drinking. Another thing was that I was just feeling very shitty, very miserable, I was depressed. I've talked to you on here about my mental health and how my weight gain really affected me, and I think I was coping with it a lot with alcohol, to where it was just making things a lot worse. And I noticed that whenever I would drink, I wouldn't have any motivation. And motivation comes and goes, but this was different. It was, I would drink probably Friday through Sunday, and Monday I would wake up feeling like crap, and I would start my day late, if I even started it. And then I would want to start my week on Monday, but I would start it until like Tuesday, because Monday I spent the day just feeling like shit. And then it was making me not be a productive person. It wasn't allowing me to do the things that I had to do. There was times where I didn't want to get out of bed, where I really just felt depressed. There was times that I would get out of bed till like 1 or 2 p.m. because I just didn't want to deal with my responsibilities, I guess, but because I was just feeling just in a dark place, and I didn't like that, and I feel like alcohol was just making it worse for me. So there was all these things that I put together, my health issues, me feeling depressed, my weight gain, all of that just led me to really be like, there's one common factor here, and that's alcohol, and you need to remove it to see if you start feeling better. And honestly, I do feel like I feel so much better. I've been able to stay more consistent with my weight loss journey. I've been able to stay more disciplined at the gym. I, for the most part, go to the gym super early in the morning, get my day started, and I'm able to do the things that I have to do. And being sober has showed me how it is to be around drunk people, and personally, I hate it. It's just, people get more feisty, they get more aggressive, and I am not patient when it comes to seeing drunk people. That's why I was able to do it when I was drunk, because I was drunk, I wasn't paying attention to all of that. And now being the sober one and being around drunk people, I rather just go home early and go to my bed. Not that I do it, for the most part I'll stick through, because I don't want to be that boring person either. But it is definitely harder being at parties now, because everyone's on a different vibe and you're just there sober. So I get tired and I'm like, man, I really just wish I was in bed. I have a bedtime now. I go to sleep 10 p.m. the latest, sometimes 11, but I try to be in bed by 9. I truly enjoy having a schedule, not being out late on the weekends, although we end up being out on the weekends with family and stuff. But if it were up to me, I would go home. And it's crazy because before, when I would see people do it and go home early, I would tell them like, you're so boring, you're a grandma, you're a grandpa, just stay, party, blah blah blah. And now I am that grandma, I am that person staying home or trying to go home early. Again, I won't be the one to be like, let's go, because my fiance does drink still, and I don't want to remove him if he's having fun. Like, I don't want to be the one to be like, let's go. Thankfully, it helped that with his side, there's people that don't drink. Actually, I was always the ones trying to like push them to drink, and they don't drink, so I get to just hang out with them, the sober people, the sober crew. It's harder with my side of the family. That's where the real challenge is, because they're the drinkers. And I am a little nervous about summer, because I feel like summer is normally when I crave a beer, and those are the times that I truly want to be like, I just want to enjoy one cold beer, you know. But I just don't know if I have it in me yet to be able to be that person to just stop at 1 or 2 without having to get drunk. And I feel really proud for not having any alcohol in my system as well, so I don't know if I want to break that streak yet. We'll see where that takes me. But anyways, pros of not drinking: no hangovers, no feeling like shit the next day. I don't have to worry about how we're gonna get home because I'm always the sober one. I can get us home safely. More productivity. I'm able to stay more disciplined with my weight loss, so that means I'm also not having those excessive calories on the weekend, because like I said, I was one to drink not just 3-4 drinks. I was one to drink probably 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 drinks a day, depending on how long we were out, how long we were staying up that night. I would have a lot of beers, and that's what was worse, that I would have beer. Yeah, those are the pros. I've been feeling really good without alcohol, and that's what I try to remember whenever I do feel like caving in. I just tell myself, look, you've been feeling great, you're on top of your shit, just don't go back for it, don't fall for it. Why? You don't need it. You've been great without it. And I have a great support system. My family, some of them are so like, come on, have a drink, but for the most part, they support me. They're proud of me. They tell me they're proud of me. My sister, that day that I was about to cave in, at the end of the night told me that she was really proud of me, because she knew that that was really hard to like turn down. I feel like that's the kind of little bribe that we use normally for our family, like, oh, if you don't love me, I mean, if you don't take that shot, you don't love me. So for me to be able to be like, you know what, I do love you, but I'm not gonna take that shot, was a big moment for me, was something huge for me to be able to be like, no, I'm not doing it. So I have a great support system, my fiance, and I think thankfully, like I said, I'm not an addict where I feel like I could have alcohol in the house. We have beer, we have a whole little bar area, so I could be around alcohol and not feel like I'm going crazy if I don't drink it. It was just, I would be more of a social drinker, or even I felt like I started using it more as like, if I felt like I had to tell something to my fiance, I wanted to have a few drinks before I built that courage to be able to talk to him about something, which was ridiculous, because I could literally tell him anything and he will listen to me and he will validate my feelings. He will never be like, no, that's not right, or no, I didn't do that. Like, he will truly just be like, okay, I'll do better. So I noticed that too. I was starting to just, if I needed something, a situation that I had to deal with, I had to have a few drinks in my system to build that courage to like say something to someone. And I found that that wasn't healthy, because it wasn't allowing me to deal with my feelings sober, especially with things that I feel like I should have been able to handle sober. So yeah, that's my little life update right now. Some things that have helped me stay sober. I think the one thing that I definitely got hooked on once I let go of alcohol was Coke Zeros. I was drinking them every single day. I think that was the thing that helped me, just to feel like I had a drink on me. But it got to the point where I was drinking them every day, which was not good. I would drink Coke Zeros occasionally, and I would start drinking 1 or 2 every single day, and they were Coke Zero, 0 calories, but they're still just as bad, if not worse, than the regular Coke. So, and I got hooked on that for a while, but thankfully I was able to, now I kind of slowly started replacing it with mineral water or sparkling water, and it definitely did the trick. I now drink more sparkling water than I do Coke Zero. Coke Zero, I'll enjoy it maybe once a week if we're out at a restaurant having a meal. I try to have mineral waters at all time at my house, but even now I've actually started getting used to just drinking water again. I drink a lot of water regardless, but I think it's nice to have that different drink just to feel like you're drinking something separate. So something that does help me though at parties is to make sure that I'm having a drink that I enjoy. I've never been much of a, I was more of a beer drinker, so I don't really do mocktails. But there's been occasions where there's like a bartender, like for example my cousin's baby shower, she had a bartender, and thankfully the bartender was so nice, and she was making me these mocktails that were so good. It was just, I think, mineral water, and she was throwing lemon and salt and I think cucumber, and it was so refreshing, and everyone thought I was drinking, so it wasn't even hard for me to try to turn down people other than the come on let's take a shot. Then I'd be like, no, I'm good, I have a drink. But people didn't even realize I wasn't drinking, so that's something that has helped. But other than that, yeah, that's my little update. I'm 6 months sober as of this week. I'm feeling blessed, I'm feeling proud. I definitely do want to touch base on this more, maybe do like a little Q&A if you guys have any questions after me making this video. But it's something that I wanted to share because I know that I had made a video before saying that I was going to quit drinking, and then I'm sure most of you were like, what the hell, Judith, like why are you over there posting that you're getting drunk if you just said that you were quitting drinking? So I did want to hold off on it, which is why I'm just sharing it, that I am 6 months sober, because I wanted to make sure that I stuck to it. Now I'm here announcing it, and I do hope that I can stick to it longer. Like I said, I'm just gonna take it day by day now and see if I can stick to it or not. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. I'll try to do a Q&A video following up this video if you guys have any questions that I can make a video out of, or maybe I'll do a Q&A on my Instagram. Make sure you follow me on there. I'm normally on there every day on my stories or posting every day. So if you're not following me there, go give me a follow. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. It will definitely help me out. Like this video, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Love y'all. Besos.